Hey guys, I just want to share my story with you this week. Just want to tell you a little bit about what God's done in my life the past few years. So, yeah, I guess just to start off, I grew up in southeastern Wisconsin, a little place called Union Grove, and grew up most of my life going kind of split churches and split homes. My mom and my grandma, we would always go to Catholic church, and my dad, we'd go to this non-denominational church. So it was kind of a big difference in churches growing up, but I also lived with my grandma a lot of the time when my mom was away. She was a flight attendant. So we didn't spend a ton of time as a family growing up, so that was always interesting. But my childhood was pretty solid in church a lot, but not a lot of reality to any of it. It was kind of just ritual. I just did it because my parents and my grandma did it. So went through that in my childhood, went up to high school, kind of, got away from church scene so much. Still went to Catholic school, so we had to go to church like once a month, get all dressed up. So did that, but still faith was nothing to me really. I would once in a while get into it, kind of want to learn a little bit, but it was never really serious for me. During that time of high school though, my parents, they had a real rough patch. They went through a divorce. So that was kind of a hard time for me. It was a confusing time for me, just trying to figure out who I was in high school, trying to find a place that I could identify with, which for me was sports a lot of the time, and just doing what I could to fit in with other people. So, yeah, I went to college after that, freshman, sophomore year up here at UMD, and honestly, a lot of my life was just partying, just trying to fit in. I knew coming to college, that's how you could fit in, and got to know a lot of people, and that's what I did. And I did fit in pretty well. I fit that scene really well, got to know a lot of people, had a lot of friends, but really it was leaving me empty after a while. Sophomore year came around, had been partying for 2 years, had a ton of friends, but it still wasn't fulfilling. So I actually went with a bunch of friends down to spring break in South Padre, Texas. And we went down there, had a typical spring break time, but we came back from that, and I remember being at home and trying to go to bed one night and just having like a video, like a movie clip running through my mind of how I'd been living. And just in that moment, God was just showing me, yeah, you've been living this way, and this way hasn't been right, and there is a right way to live, and you're not living up to that standard. And it wasn't a harsh kind of scolding. It was more of a gentle, what you're doing isn't right, but there is a better way. And in that time, I remember saying that night, like, Jesus, I think right now I believe you're real, and God, I'm just asking you to take my sin from me. And it was like a burden being lifted off me at that moment, and I could just sense like the reality of what Jesus did for me on the cross, that he actually died, and he actually took the sin that had been weighing me down and kind of shackling me. Since then, it's kind of a struggle for a long time. Still was in kind of the party scene for a while, going in and out of that for a bit, not really understanding what Christianity was. Finally contacted one of my friends I used to party with, Cole was his name, and knew he had started doing some God stuff, and I figured I'll see what he's about. Maybe he knows a little bit about what it is that happened to me. And so I talked with him. He introduced me to crew, introduced me to a guy named Luke Rickard, a bunch of other cool guys that I just got to know, and just really helped me grow and understand what it means to be a Christian. So from there on out, it's kind of been a struggle, seeing my sin, seeing how messed up I've been, seeing how great Jesus is, and just what it is to know him and just kind of find comfort in who he is for me. So that's been my life. Been doing that since then, trying to know Jesus, and I'm just at a point right now where knowing him truly is enough, in spite of how sinful I am a lot of the time, but just growing to know him, knowing what he's done for me, and really just living in light of that. So that's my story.